Hello, this is part two of the inner critic video. I realized after watching Persia tell such a good story, I was like, I got to tell a better story than the one I was telling. Not that I'm being critical, but it's kind of funny. It was so good. I was mesmerized watching her tell the story. Then I realized that after I had been doing this work of putting myself out there and making myself very uncomfortable playing my flute for several years, and I remember people getting quite upset at me, and we mentioned that, but I'll mention this one particular time that I was at the park and I was walking playing my flute, and there was some lady jogging through the park. And I wanted her to get past me and get down the trail. So I kept stopping and waiting and playing and dancing. But for whatever reason, she was also stopping and doing something. So I kept going, and it kept seeming like I was following her, because then I would start walking again, and then I would catch up to her. And I was like, what is she doing? So I would stop again and I would play, and I would be like, hurry up and get down the trail. Anyway, this happened like 3 or 4 times. And we finally got to the area, and there was this is in Portland. There's a redwood grove, and there's this platform. And I got to the platform, and I usually would go and balance on. There's a big handrail, and I would get up on the handrail, and I would balance on like one foot and play my flute to the redwoods. And what was really magical is that there was owls hanging out in these redwoods, and owls would fly over me while I was playing. But this day I was playing, that lady who was jogging was still, she also got to the platform and was on the bench doing something. And she got really upset and started yelling at me and accusing me of following her and that I was being creepy. Now, you got to imagine, I'm dressed in completely like bright colored kimono. I would wear kimonos and bright colored clothes, and I had a big hat on, and I had my flute. I was making lots of noise. I had bells. I attached bells to myself, so I was making all this noise. And her claiming that I was trying to sneak up and follow her was the most ridiculous thing you could imagine. But she was freaked out for whatever reason. And I had this big fan. I would wave this fan around.
Well, she was in the forest alone.
No, there was other. This is a funny thing. There was other people around.
It was a busy day.
It was a busy day. So she yelled at me for a while, and then I was like, please go get down the trail. I'm not following you. And so she ran down the trail and got away from me. And then another lady walked up, and she's like, what is wrong with that lady? She's like, this other lady was like, what you're doing is awesome, because she was also sitting there in the little bench area, and she was observing the whole thing, and she was, seeing me playing the flute and balancing on one foot and doing my thing. And she was like, oh, what you're doing is so amazing, and da-da-da-da. And then she's like, can I ask you a question? I was like, sure. She's like, I've had these light beings show up to me before in a meditation, and she was asking me about, is that normal, and what's going on with that? I don't know why she felt like she could ask me.
Because you looked like a monk.
Well, yeah, I was explaining to her I was doing this Buddhist practice, and so we were talking, and I was explaining to her that, I think these are daikinis. And these are the light beings that are the daikinis, that are the feminine principle. And she told me some other things about them that made me think these are the daikinis that you read about in the stories. So she was super, super excited that I was like, yes, this is really good. Those are the daikinis. They're here to help you. They probably got a message for you. And we had this really great conversation about her Buddhist practice and my Buddhist practice and the light beings that come and help you and guide you. Because I had also had some of those beings helping and guiding me. And so that I'm sharing that story because it's funny that even in the midst of someone being very upset and not understanding what I was doing, and that's fine, and I was totally fine that she didn't understand, and I kept asking her, please go down the trail so I can just be left alone. It was also nice that other people were there observing, and then they also came up, and we had this beautiful conversation about the daikinis and how they come and help you. So that's part two to my story. Not necessarily about me, but it's about if you put yourself out there and you do the work, there are people who are receptive and there are people who are not receptive. And the receptive people will show up and help they'll be part of your journey. And people who are not receptive, they won't be part of your journey. So you could just let them go on down the trail and stay out of your way. And I have another story about being in Peru and playing my flute and walking up the mountain with my flute and meeting a Huascar at one of the gates. But I think we're going to save some of our Peruvian stories for another talk, because I just wanted to do a quick follow-up.
What site was that?
It was a secret site, and we'll have to talk about
The
it.
secret site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the lightning
Where
strikes.
the portal?
The portal, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to share more stories. This is just a quick follow-up to the last video. This is going to be part 2. Just to encourage you to embrace your creative self. Don't allow inner criticism or external criticism to slow you down. Give yourself to your practices. Give yourself permission to put yourself in an uncomfortable place, or even sometimes take things that are creating comfort for you, take those away so that you can face sometimes the truth of what our brains are doing. But we're all here to show up and do this work, and we appreciate your support, and we hope these videos inspire you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.